Everybody, welcome back. Falcon, GamersGoMakers. You guys know the routine right at this point. Fuck Ned Stark. Not only literally and figuratively, but also in terms of company name. Fuck Ned Stark. He's the reason why we went out of business last time. You know, early on he was just kind of sinking us over and over and over. Apparently our text-based game didn't have the graphic capabilities he was looking for. Motherfucker, it is a text-based game. What did you want? Fancy fonts? Alrighty, so that's alright. I'm gonna leave that behind me and start a new company today. But we're gonna do this differently. Number one, you'll forgive me, a little bit under the weather, so if I'm a little bit stuffy, I sound a little bit awkward, I'm not feeling exactly 100%, so I also apologize for any weird coughs here and there. I'll try to muffle some of them out, like during post, you know, when I fix up my audio, but I don't, you know, necessarily promise that I'll be able to get everything, because, you know, it becomes a little bit tedious after a while having to cut off every single cough. Second order of business, we're gonna not only create my company, I'm also gonna read some comments. And why I'm gonna read some comments? Well, it's gonna become really apparent really soon. And that is because we're gonna do gameplay, game engine, and I guess we'll do... Yeah, you know what, let's be a little bit pretentious then. Let's get some graphics, otherwise, you know, Ned Stark's not gonna like us too much. And I figure we're gonna go with Canada this time around. I was told that Canada is probably a good place to start because the running costs a little bit less to get your feet off the ground type of thing. So yeah, fuck Ned Stark over in Canada. I like that idea. What is going on? I'm picking 80s type of, sure, we'll do this one right here. I'm just dropping acid, like, pretty bad. Okay, good. Now go ahead, click on your character, and then start your business by creating your first game. Have fun. Alrighty, so here's where we pause the game. Now, I'm gonna create my own game. My first one. And I think I'm gonna spend that $50,000 on making an Atari game. But before we continue on too further, I'm gonna make a few games on my own volition. Basically, I'll pick out some titles myself, yada yada yada. But for this episode and going forward, I will be reading some of the comments from episode number 4. If you guys remember episode number 4, I asked you guys to leave your ideas down, so I'm gonna start reading some of these live. I'll give you guys credit for it, I'll read out your name and everything like that. And, you know, I'm not gonna pick every single one that I do read, but I'll try to pick out a few of them here and there that I find that are kind of like, you know, gonna help us out in the long run. You know, I read a lot of these, by the way. I read all of them already. And some of you guys, I sort of God, are dead set on sinking my company for a second time, so you guys are scumbags. I'm just throwing that out there right now. Either way, for our first game, I'm gonna go with start a new project here. Yeah, game, I got it. Alright, so I am gonna go ahead and actually, well, there's no trend right now, is there? No, well, I mean, games just started up right now, so of course there's no trend. So I'm gonna start a new project, and you know what? Call me crazy, I feel like dropping $50,000 for an Atari license. Crazy, I'm aware, because, you know, the market share for the Commodore is just as high. But I think I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna drop $50,000 on the Atari. You don't have a license for the Atari 2600. Would you like to buy one for $50,000? Absolutely. So there goes $50,000 down the drain immediately, meaning I won't have enough money for story purposes or any other sort of extra thing. So because of that, I'm thinking we do something like action platformy, just because, you know, you don't really need a story then. So I'm gonna do action, and you can't go wrong with action platform, right? Did I just say action? With action platform, apparently, you know, it's not action, it's action. You know, there's no CT right there. Now, we need a name for this title. It's gonna be an action platform game. I'm thinking along the lines of, you know, probably like, let's do something Super Meat Boy related. How about we go with Super Beat Your Meat, I guess? Super Beat Your Meat, sure, why not? A little bit, you know, I mean, we're gonna be pushing, I guess, the limits when it comes to, like, you know, the ESRB rating on this, but, you know, we'll just hope that they don't really understand it too much, and I'll be like, you know, it's literally a game about a piece of meat cube. You just run around and you beat them up. That's all it is, man, alright? Don't go and get any crazy ideas off of it. Audio based sound, video text based, whatever, that sounds pretty good. Alright, gotcha. So, Super Meat Your Beat, or Super, that would have been good too. Super Meat Your Beat. Like, you know, it makes them think a little bit like, what does he mean? But no, when you say Super Beat Your Meat, I think they got the idea what that means. But whatever, it's fine. Again, apologies, I'm completely under the weather right now, but that's okay. I have a free day today, so I gotta take advantage of it and record. If I die later, it's no big deal. what do we need to focus on when it comes to an action platform game? Well, I'm gonna say it's gonna have to be all gameplay, game engine, maybe a little bit of graphics, perhaps even, especially for a platformer game. So I'm gonna go gameplay 4, maybe. Game engine, yeah, we'll do like a 3. I kind of want to do a 4, but I don't know. Yeah, let's just go with this. And because, you know, Ned Stark. Remember, our company's called Fuck You, Ned Stark, for a reason, so gotta take care of him. We'll do sound because, you know, you kind of want some, like, you know, upbeat music when you're playing, like, platforming games. You're like, you know, if you've played, like, you know, Super Electronic Joy or whatever the fuck it's called, or Electronica Joy, whatever, that platformer game that's just, like, you know, really... I'm not sure if that's even going to come out well through audio, but okay, what I was trying to impersonate there was, like, you know, something off of a rave or something. But whatever, Super Electronic Joy, I think it's something of that nature. Alrighty. What else do we need? I'm going to probably say that we don't really need game writing, so how about instead of game writing, we'll do, like... I figure level design could be important, but also sound design. These are the decisions I gotta come up with here, and I'm not entirely sure which one I feel a bit more better with doing. I'm gonna say level design, though, perhaps. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna do level design, and I kinda wanna do sound design as well. But... what if I drop graphics 1 and put him to sound design? Would that work out? No, let's just do it this way, okay? Let's just go with that. Sound design, we'll leave it at 2, and hopefully that's it. Game writing has to be a 1, obviously. It's a fucking platformer game, okay? So now we get the game going on. Super Meet Your Beat's gonna go on, well, I have to develop it first. There is a strong trend towards fantasy games coming up. Oh, fuck, I should've just waited a bit longer, maybe like a Final Fantasy spin-off or something. You can choose a team for your story and spend money on your... yeah, we've already gone through this before. Need a little coffee here. Oh man, my throat's just killing me. Alrighty. Project targeting. Well, what do we do here? Well, it's a platform game, so we absolutely need to spend no money. Plus, we have no money to spend, so it kind of works out. A story to our guy, though. Well, fantasy games, huh? Well, you know what? Maybe Super Beat Your Meat's gonna be a fantasy game. How about that? There you go. There's a strong trend coming towards it, too, so that might help us out a bit. We have no money for translations, so it's gonna be American only. And, let's see. Well, there's gotta be a little bit of sexual content in there. I mean, considering it's called Super Beat Your Meat, right? You know, I don't think you have to be too explicit on it, but maybe a little bit of violence in there. You know, you're kind of beating the meat a little bit too hard, so it's a little bit violent. But not too violent. My lord. I'm dying here. That's fine. So we can get the game going on with that point. Now, we have a good startup point here because, number one, there's a strong trend towards fantasy games coming up. So we're gonna definitely be able to get involved in that and actually take advantage of that. So luckily I was able to kind of take advantage of that, so that's gonna help us out. Secondly, I think action platforms are really good. It's an easy theme, or an easy game to make, right? It's action and platform, they go well in hand together, and I hope that I picked out what usually messes me up is when I'm, you know, splitting up the AI points where they're gonna be going and whatnot. But I feel that was a pretty good spread. Now, the second thing I'm going to be focusing on this run as well is not opening too much research early. You're probably wondering what that means. Well, after I failed the first company, I was doing a little bit of reading into the game and the forums and whatnot, and apparently one of the things that is going to sink your company really early on is, let's see, new research is available, model sound, we'll get that soon. We'll get to that soon. One of the things that's going to sink your company really early on is... how about designing the case? Oh, right. The case for the, thing, right? Okay, well, let's see. Well, I just need, like, something meaty, I suppose, or maybe something that looks like a, you know, phallus. I think you're gonna work out quite well, my friend. So we'll do this one, and, you know, we gotta make it red. No, questions asked, right? So... one of the things that I read that's gonna sink your company really fast is opening up too much research soon. What do we have here? Frogwolf for publisher 21 Games just released an action platform game for the Atapi 26 called Demolition, and it seems to be nice. That's fine, you know? That's what you tell, like, you know, an ugly kid, like, you know, when you run into, like, an old friend or something and they, like, you're like, oh, that's your kid, and you're like, yeah, what do you think? You're like, oh, you look at the baby, and it's like ugly as hell, and you're like, oh, she looks nice. It's a boy. Oh, yeah, it's nice, man. Still, believe me, when that game says it's a nice game, Demolition, it means it's fucking terrible. That's what it means. I know, I'm an adult. I'm a very vindictive adult. Alright, tutorial. Development of your first game is finished. As you develop games, you gain experience to improve your skills. Right, so we gotta level up in graphics and gameplay. And game writing 1, sound design 1, and level design 1. Alrighty, all fine. What do you... Oh, you want me to give me a level somewhere. Okay, gotcha. I couldn't figure, I was like, what the hell's going on here? My game froze? I guess we'll go with... I think nothing wrong with doing a little bit more gameplay, right? So we'll do that. Boom, ski. Now it's time to put your new game into the market, have a look at the current market situation, set the price of the game, and see how well it sells. Alrighty, so right now, the first game, well, let's find out. Demolition came out 60%, okay, and that guy sold for 18 bucks. So I suppose we'll probably, you know, we're gonna follow that trend for now because it was the first game that came out, so might as well kind of keep it up there. I don't want to suddenly make the second game of the genre be more expensive and be like, where are games going right now? You know, I gotta keep it, you know, level-headed at first, and then later on, once we get a little bit more fans and stuff established, we'll jack up the price. So I'm thinking this is good. Congratulations, you just put your first game onto the market. You should see reviews and sales coming in from the game soon. Good luck. Oh, I hope it's good luck. You need a really good one here. So we got a short review, or show review. Alrighty, so let's find out what's gonna happen here. This is the first review. Yeah, go away. Just go away. Let me just read what's happening behind myself here. Okay, music gets repetitive. Perhaps you should have paid more attention to the following areas: sound. But you know what? Everything else was pretty good. Graphics 7.5 out of 10, sound 5 out of 10, 7.5, 7, 8.5, and 7.5. We got a beautiful, mostly smooth visuals. Looting and leveling are rewarding. Hey, what game did you play? There's no looting when it comes to Super Meat. Well, I guess there's looting of the booty. If you know what I mean. Much improved level design leads to challenging and exciting battles, rich and involving atmosphere. Music gets repetitive. That would have been good if Ned Stark would have been our reviewer. Varied and always fun story missions. Fuck Ned Stark comes up with their first release, an entertaining action platform game on the Atari 2600. I'm really curious about their next game. Well, you should be. And Press, you'll be the next one that we aim for. Alrighty, so our game's gonna go on sale. Oh my lord. Look at this shit, man. 5 days and already sold 2,800 copies. So obviously, if you keep it kind of safe, you know, action platform, stuff that you can't miss with, you're gonna probably do okay. I think that the first time around, we kind of got a little bit too overzealous with our ideas, a little bit too much hubris in what we were choosing there. But I'm gonna research mono right now. Not mono like the kissing disease, but mono sound. So we're gonna be doing really good when it comes to that. We already learned mono. That's good. Oh man, our sales gonna be really fucking amazing for our first game. That's a good way. That's a good way to start. You need a good startup point. So, there is a very strong trend for strategy war games coming up. You know what? You guys actually left me some comments for strategy war games. So let me go ahead and open up my window over here on the comments. Now I obviously can't. Oh, I can start my new project now, huh? Okay, 1 second. So, let me go and start a new project. Meanwhile, this game sells, it's up to 10,000 already, so we're doing fucking amazing on it. Let's see, Fuck Ned Stark from Toronto, Canada, a newcomer to the industry, has just published their first game, and there is a very strong trend for strategy war games coming up. And you guys, again, I said, you guys left me some good tips for, or some comments based on the whole game idea, thing that I asked you guys in episode 4. One of the things that killed this last run was that I opened up too much research early on, and I read that that's a bad idea. You don't want to open up like AI, UI, and all this other shit too early, because what that means is that you're spreading out your points a little bit too much than you actually have. Remember, we were rolling with like what, 6 points, and with 6 points we had to kind of spread them out in like 10 or 12 different options, and that was kind of really killing us in the long run, which is the reason why we kind of ended up screwing ourselves up. So it's kind of like a beginner's trap in a sense, but giving you guys a heads up in case you guys are playing this too and having a hard time. Don't research everything that's going to open up a lot of different options too fast, because you're not going to have enough points to focus on every single category. So just a heads up right there. Now, when it comes to a strategy war game, I'm gonna go with well, obviously strategy and war. No questions asked. Now, for what system we want this to? Well, I'm gonna say that we're gonna have to go with the my lord. My lungs, are you alright? I'm gonna go with the Commodore right here. Now, let me go and take a look at the comments here. And try to find a strategy war game that you guys might have suggested over here. Let's see. So we have Alir the Creep saying, do a Yippee Mr. Falcon game. Yeah. Well, let's just say that that was probably the first game. Super Beat Your Meat. That sounds like a Falcon game to me. No, but I know I read like something about strategy war games over here. Just gotta find out who it was. There we go. Future Warfare Strategy, Command and Conquer. Ho ho! I wonder if I would get sued if I, you know, made a Command and Conquer game. I doubt I would, you know. Is the Command and Conquer series even still around anymore? I'm not even sure. I feel like it's been forever. We got a simulation game over here. Strategy Rabid War. Captain Rabbit says, hey, do a Rabid Commander. Do a game called Rabid Commander. It's going to be a strategy Rabid War. Alright, you know what? Captain Rabbit, I guess we'll do that. What do you want me to name this? Rabid Commander? Okay. Rabid Commander. If you don't mind, Rabid Commander, I will spell Commander correctly. I just have a thing when it comes to spelling. Sometimes. No offense against you. So, I'm gonna go ahead and do Rabid Commander. Strategy war game for the Commodore. Is that what we're doing here? The Commodore? I think that's what it was. Yes, Commodore. So, Rabid Commander strategy war game. I'm going to do mono sound text based, right? Now, what games do I got to focus on? This you guys didn't leave me, but that's okay. I really rather focus it on myself. I just wanted you guys to give me like title ideas and like, you know, suggestions, but I'll figure this out by myself. So, for a strategy war game, I'm thinking we probably focus a little bit on I gotta imagine gameplay, not too important, but at least slightly important, right? The AI would be amazing, but obviously we haven't really opened that up yet. So I'm gonna say like probably gameplay 3, game engine, graphics, and sound, maybe like a 2. I'm thinking content design. If I remember correctly, content design was actually a big thing. Level design is good for action platform games. Content design, simulation tends to need a lot of content. Sound design. Let's see, what could work out over here? Well, I'm thinking probably we open up maybe level design for strategy games, like level of the actual battles. That would be pretty important, I would imagine, right? So like maybe the level design. And yeah, I'm gonna do a 4 on this. Game writing could be important as well for a strategy war game, right? I mean, you kind of need a story right there. Where to dump off the other points is a real question here. Like, I think that's what we do need for now, but with 3 points left, I mean, why not throw them? So let's do game engine, we'll do sound maybe, and terrible writing, sound design, content design, simulations, role-playing games, graphics, let's go and add it into content design. I'm gonna say that's gonna be good. Alright. So, this is gonna be for, Rabid Commander, I do believe is what we call this one. Yeah, Rabid Commander. So that one's gonna get going. We're still selling the first game a lot, by the way, so we're not stopping on, you know, the first game, which is super beat your meat by any extent of the imagination here. We do need a story for this. He wanted it to be, let me check out this comment one more time. He wanted it to be a Rabid Commander strategy Rabid War. Rabid Animal. Okay, let's see, is there any animal thing here for a story? Not really, my friend. Yeah, aliens, ancient Greek, Baroque, Caribbean cartoon. Let's see, is there like a farm type of thing here? I'm not sure. Werewolf, maybe it's like a werewolf diseased rabbit. You know what, I'm gonna go with... I think I'm gonna go with fantasy, just because it sounds like, you know, a Rabid Commander sounds kind of fantastical in reality, so we'll do a fantasy one, alright? Although, Well, strategy war. Let's just make it like war. How about that? It might not be rabbit oriented, but all right, commander, right? Military. So a fucking rabid militarized strategy war game. I like it. I love it. Now we have money for a story budget, and you know, might as well drop it in, right? Let's just go all in. No reason not to. We have the money for it right now anyway. Actually, you know what? Fuck the story. Let's translate it instead. 43,000 to translate it, huh? Okay, sure. Go ahead. Now, in terms of violence, I'm going to say kind of high. Explicit language should stay that way. Sexual content, you know, we'll just lower it down to that. Violence is okay with that. Explicit language, maybe a little bit higher up. There we go. So I like that ordeal. For Rabid Commander. That's my throat fails me continuously here. We get a little bit of coffee meanwhile. Now, I am loving the, how our first game is selling, though. We're almost up to 20,000. Which is, I think, probably not even anywhere near our first run amounted at all the games that we sold together. So 20,000 is going to be really goddamn good. Fantasy game trend has died out, so our Super Meat Boy or Super Beat Your Meat is going to actually take a little bit of hit off of that, but that's okay. There's a very strong trend for military games coming up. Was our game military? It was, strategy war, right? With a military story, was it? I think it was. If it is, then holy shit, it's gonna help us out quite a bit. Alrighty, for in terms of case designer, let's see. We're gonna probably, he didn't tell me any specific colors that he wanted, so we'll do it's really ugly ass case, by the way. This is really so repulsive. Like, this is honestly making me sick right now. Like, I'm already sick as it is, but this is making me, like, you know, physically ill. The color of this fucking case here. Let's see, we're gonna probably do, oh, okay. There you go. We're just imagining that's a rabbit underneath that costume, right? We'll do this. Gotta give him, like, yeah, it's pretty good. Rabbit Commander, yeah, sure, that sounds fine. Alrighty, so, off you go. 80% done with Rabbit Commander programming over here. I have a feeling that with the very strong trend coming up, we're gonna do pretty good with Rabbit Commander as well. So we might have like back-to-back games over here that do really fucking spectacular. So that's gonna be pretty good. So Commodore Strategy War, right? Continue onwards. My Wayward Son, Rabbit Commander. There's a very strong trend for strategy war games. Nice. There's a very strong trend for military games. Nice. There's currently no similar game in the market. Commodore has a share of 37%. The average market for a strategy war game is $19. We're gonna push the limit. We're gonna say 20 bucks because our game's gonna be the shit. Plus, we have two very strong trends helping us out right now. I could jack it up a bit more, but let's just not get too crazy here. Again, we're barely starting up, so we might as well, you know, kind of not push the envelope too much here. You got a short review. So how about this, guys? Who knows how the review's gonna be? Tune in next episode and we'll find out how Rabbit Commander does.